Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new around here, welcome. My name is Divyanka and I'm a doctor of pharmacy here in the US. On this channel, I strive to provide you guys with as many resources as possible to help build your ideal professional life. Now today, we are going to go over the 7 most common career paths for pharmacists within the pharmaceutical industry. Let's just get right into it. The first is medical affairs. If you guys have done absolutely any research into the pharmaceutical industry and pharmacist careers within it, you have probably heard the word or department name medical affairs. As more and more PharmDs get into the pharmaceutical industry, I would say by far the most PharmDs are in medical affairs. Now, of course, medical affairs has multiple different roles and multiple different ways that pharmacists can be a part of it, and that's true for the whole industry, but it's really a good place for a pharmacist to especially start within the pharmaceutical industry and really utilize all their skills, and that's probably why a lot of the first careers for PharmDs within the industry were within medical affairs. Now, on my channel, I've actually made specific videos for each of these departments and functional areas where I really dive deep into each functional area, what they're for, how they help the pharma company, how they help the clinical development process, where exactly they fit into the puzzle. So if you guys are interested in that, please do check out the pharmaceutical industry playlist on my channel and you'll find all of the videos and you can really learn on a deeper level what each function does. High-level medical affairs helps with really any education about that company's therapeutic area or medications and products for generally external use, and medical affairs also works on internal education. So that's why you hear of things like a role like an MSL who is out there to educate doctors and KOLs, also known as key opinion leaders that are just special doctors basically. And medical affairs is also responsible for things like conferences and congresses and publications because that's all about educating the public, the outside world, patients, physicians about this company, about the therapeutic area, and about the medications. Next, we have regulatory affairs. This I put second because I do find that after medical affairs, I would say a lot of people go into regulatory affairs, and this only makes sense. Of course, within regulatory affairs, that is the team really responsible for all the communications between that company, about their therapeutic area, about their products, to any governmental agency, which in the US is the FDA. Every country, every place has their governing body for which pharmaceutical companies need a relationship with, and all of that communication is dealt with within regulatory affairs. Of course, coming with a PharmD is super helpful because you have the knowledge of the drug development process, how medicines work, and you can really talk to the FDA about those things. Again, a super great place for a PharmD career. Next, we have pharmacovigilance, also known as drug safety. Pharmacovigilance is really where all of the safety data lives for all the clinical trials, for all the information and data about certain therapeutic areas and medications and products of that company. And as you can imagine, pharmacists honestly fit so well into pharmacovigilance because we are drug experts and we are taught to be that. We are taught to look at the adverse events and the side effects of medications. So looking at that data comes very naturally to a PharmD, and that's why a career in pharmacovigilance is really lucrative for PharmDs. Next, we have medical writing. Now, this is where I personally work currently, and something that I didn't know about before I graduated, honestly, in the sense of actually understanding what medical writing is. And medical writing can actually be either its own department or sit within other departments at a pharmaceutical company, but it is usually its own, at least, mini department, and it is a completely different role than anything in any other department. As a medical writer, you are usually working on clinical and regulatory documents, all the documents that go from the company to somewhere. So again, in the sense of the FDA or any regulatory body, there are a lot of documents of communication or reporting data that come from each company to those agencies. So a medical writer is the one responsible for writing those. Now, there are also the clinical documents that are all the documents that actually help enable a clinical trial and anything that actually happens within that. So things like a protocol, things like an investigator's brochure, all the important documentation that needs to actually enable clinical trials, the data that comes from that, speaking with regulatory agencies, even things like publications come under medical writing. So it is a super great place. I'm not biased at all, but it really is a place where people need to know more about medical writing and the impact that medical writing can have. So I hope that this at least open your eyes up to medical writing. I have a few videos on my channel about it, and we'll be talking about it way more, so definitely look into it if that is of interest. Next, we have clinical pharmacology, and now, as the name states, it is pretty obvious as to why a PharmD, a pharmacist, would fit super well into the clinical pharmacology department. The role of that department is to really understand all the data from clinical trials of that company's therapeutic area and medications, and for their drugs and products from a clinical pharmacology lens. And that pharmacology is super important because it really involves understanding how a product, how a drug is affecting our bodies. And again, we have an extensive background as pharmacists on the pharmacology of medications, and actually being able to put that towards clinical trials, the medications that are in research currently, is not only rewarding and cool, but a great place for pharmacists to work. So again, another great place for PharmDs to work in. Next, we have health economics and outcomes research, also known as HEOR, and this is a really, really different and lucrative place for a PharmD to pursue a career within the pharmaceutical industry. Now, this is really looking at patient outcomes and what this company and their work can do to improve those patient outcomes. And that research happens on a multitude of different levels, whether it's for the actual therapeutic area, the medication landscape, the mechanism of medication landscape. It can really involve a lot of things, and this is again really growing in popularity within PharmDs, but is still a super underutilized career path, and it's something that you don't hear about every single day. So as you guys are exploring career options, definitely look into HEOR. Like I mentioned, it's a super different, lucrative area that you can gain some incredibly useful knowledge in and really be able to utilize your PharmD background to help you thrive in that career. Lastly, the seventh most common place for a PharmD within the pharmaceutical area is marketing. And I know that might surprise some of you, but this is also something that is gaining a lot of traction. Within a pharmaceutical company, even the marketing needs to come from a scientific lens, from a scientific background. You can't make up the science. You can't be marketing a therapeutic and a medicine or a drug product without actually backing it up with science. So there actually needs to be a lot of people with scientific backgrounds within marketing. And this again is a super cool and lucrative place to really utilize your PharmD. You can come in with your scientific lens, and especially if you have interest in marketing, brand profiles, business, you can put those skills together and really thrive in a place like marketing in your career. So if you guys haven't looked into marketing, it's a super, super different place to again utilize all your skills, be a super well-rounded pharmacist, and be successful. Those were the 7 most common pathways for careers within the pharmaceutical industry for pharmacists. I hope this kind of sheds some light for you guys on some different career paths that are available. Like I mentioned, for a deeper look into each of these, I do have separate videos focusing on each functional area, and I do have those for more than just these 7. So I did try to do them for most of the big functional areas within the pharmaceutical industry. If you guys are looking for that type of knowledge, do check out those videos. And of course, for this video, I do hope that this information was helpful. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you guys like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already for more videos like this to, again, hopefully help you build your ideal professional life. That is it for today's video, and you guys will of course see me in the next one.